clear, does the administration deny that that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Abe, and I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd,
War on terror or what?
Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
To clarify,
Another day of wasting any time. I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. No filter, I got no filter. No filter, I got
Okay, let's listen about this. Oh. Well, my hair is a mess with because, you know, as I'm out of the bath. I brushed it a bit. I've brushed my hair a bit. Okay, let's see. I have not talked about this. Oh my god, advert, of course. Ridiculous.
to be clear, does the administration deny that that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Abe, and I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd,
War on terror or what?
Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
To clarify, Admiral Bradley was the one who gave that order for a second strike.
And he was well within his authority to do so. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law. He directed the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat of narco-terrorists to the United States was completely eliminated.
So basically, the United States had a boat. There were two people just clinging to the boat for their life, and an order was given to kill them, to execute them. Which I have no clue how those people posed a threat at that point to the United States, or I have no clue what the exact reasoning was here. A top of U.S. Navy admiral ordered a second round of strikes on an alleged Venezuelan drug boat. An alleged drug boat. The White House confirmed the double trap strike on 2nd September has drawn bipartisan scrutiny among U.S. lawmakers. The Washington Post recently reported that two people survived the first blast and were still clinging to the burning vessel when they were killed, raising fresh legality questions. Apparently the justification for it was that they could have called for help via a radio, which I find to be a very dubious explanation. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on Monday that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth authorized the strikes but did not give an order to kill everybody, as the report said. I mean, if there were just two people clinging for their life to a burning wreck, and what exactly was the point of the second tap, of the second strike, if not to kill everybody, if only two guys were alive and clinging for their life? Like, of course the purpose of this was to kill everybody. Admiral Frank Bradley worked well within his authority and law in ordering the national strike. And I think there's a legal interpretation of the whole thing. Experts explain the law, what this law is about killing survivors. Although I think that even if law allows it, I personally think that it's messed up. I really feel like it's messed up to just target, to just shoot the boat with a second strike, to just kill two dudes clinging to their life that could not really do anything, uh, affect anything. I think it's messed up. So use non-lethal missiles. I don't think those exist. Like, ridiculous. Okay, let's see. It doesn't matter whether the US is in an armed conflict with drug cartels, as the Trump administration asserts. Such a fatal second strike would have violated peacetime laws, and those governing armed conflict, the experts say. Well, yeah, if you're gonna invoke wartime regulation, then you cannot just turn around and say it doesn't matter if we're at war. Because then peacetime regulation applies, right? I can't imagine anyone, no matter what the circumstance, believing it is appropriate to kill people who are clinging to a boat in the water, said Michael Schmidt, a former Air Force lawyer and professor emeritus at the U.S. Naval War College. That is clearly unlawful. And you know what? I agree with this assessment. It's completely messed up to just order a second strike on two people clinging to life. It's crazy. And to then turn around and say, yeah, actually, I would like to tell you that the order was not to kill everybody. Well, what do you mean? Well, then why was the strike conducted if not to kill everybody? And by everybody, we mean two people left alive. The White House confirmed Monday that a second strike was conducted in September against a vessel accused of trafficking drugs off the west coast of Venezuela, and insisted it was done in self-defense and in accordance with the laws of armed conflict. So let me get this straight. The United States has conducted a second strike against two defenseless men clinging to their life, clinging to a burning wreck of a ship, of a boat, and the United States did it in self-defense. That was an act of self-defense. Words don't mean anything, do they? Words don't mean anything anymore. If this is self-defense, killing two completely defenseless men in the middle of the water. Self-defense. Okay. Where is the... Wow. Self-defense. Where is the... Clearly unlawful. Self-defense. A news report about that attack spawned a new level of scrutiny from lawmakers and added a growing debate about whether service members can refuse to follow illegal orders, which some Democratic lawmakers recently encouraged. I think they should. Okay? I think if you get an order to execute defenseless people, you should be able to refuse that order. And you should not be threatened by execution for it. Hot take? Maybe. But I feel like you should be able to refuse. Here's what to know about the strikes and laws of armed conflict, which the United States is not even in an armed conflict as far as I know. What's said of the debate? The Washington Post reported last week that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth issued a spoken directive to kill everybody on a boat targeted on September 2nd, and now the representative said that there was no order to kill everybody, so we don't really know, I guess, if this particular order was given. But to me, it doesn't matter. If there are only 2 people left alive and a second strike is ordered, then the kill everybody is pretty heavily implied in that order. Okay, if there are only a couple of people alive and you conduct a second strike, then what exactly is the other reason for doing that than to kill everybody? The first vessel hit in what the Trump administration calls a counter-drug campaign that has grown to over 20 known strikes and more than 80 people dead. 2 men survived that first attack, which killed 9 others, and were clinging to the wreckage, the newspaper reported. The commander in charge, Admiral Frank Bradley, ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instruction to killing the 2 men, the Post reported. Hegseth called it fake news. Okay, sure. I'm sorry that I'm just gonna say I do not trust Pete Hegseth on anything that he says. I am willing to believe that the order was in fact given to kill everybody directly in those words, and Pete Hegseth is not doing anything to alleviate my worries on the matter, but just saying it's fake news. Fake news on social media saying the boat strikes are in compliance with the law of armed conflict and approved by the best military and civilian lawyers up and down the chain of command. Okay, then it's not fake news. Okay? This is so contradictory. If it's fake news, then it didn't happen. But first Hegseth says it's fake news. But then he continued with, but no, it's actually not fake news at all. It's just perfectly above board. It's just legal. It's just perfectly approved. Well, if it's approved by the best military and civilian lawyers, then it's not fake news. It cannot be both. This is so stupid. How can it be fake news and approved at the same time? President Donald Trump said Sunday that the administration will look into it, but added that I wouldn't have wanted that. Not a second strike. Oh, whoa, no. Grandpa said that he would not have approved. That's not good. He noted that Hegseth told him he did not order the death of those 2 men. Well, yeah, he did. By ordering the second strike. Again, what was the purpose of the second strike if not to kill these men? Come on. Yeah, I ordered the second strike, but I didn't mean really to kill those 2 men. Sure he didn't. White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt told reporters Monday that Bradley had ordered the second strike and was well within his authority. Yes, we all know it. It's all above board. It's all legal. It's all good. It's just ridiculous. She denied that Hegseth said to leave no survivors. I mean, there were only 2 survivors. So again, what was the purpose of the second strike if not to kill them? The administration has justified the attacks as a necessary escalation to stem the flow of drugs into the United States and asserted the U.S. is engaged in an armed conflict with drug cartels similar to the war against Al-Qaeda following the September 11th attacks. I'm pretty sure that the United States has announced that the leader of Venezuela is a member of the cartel. So that happened. The Venezuela leader is a part of the cartel now. This is some of the most surreal things in a while, isn't it? We ordered a second strike, but we actually did not mean to kill anybody. We actually only meant to kill the one out of the 2 guys clinging to life. We didn't mean to kill everybody, just 1 out of 2. what the law allows during armed conflict. A second strike killing survivors would have been illegal under any circumstance, armed conflict or not, Schmidt said. He said the US is not in a legitimate armed conflict with drug cartels to begin with, which would have to be committing high levels of violence against the country, not just trafficking drugs that kill Americans. Even if it was, it has been clear for well over a century that you may not declare what's called the no quarter, take no survivors, kill everyone, Schmidt said. Yeah, there's a reason why Russia's being very, very criticized for its double tap attacks. Okay? Whether an armed conflict is taking place likely would not be settled by an international body like the International Criminal Court, to which the US is not a party, said Matthew Waxham, a Columbia University law professor who was a national security official in the George W. Bush administration. The US, however, could face blowback from allies, which may decline to share information for military operations that are illegal under their own laws or international law, said Waxman, who served in the State of Defense departments and on the National Security Council under Bush. America's armed conflicts against Al-Qaeda received support from the UN Security Council, NATO, and US allies, he said. The legal threat posed to US military personnel. There you go. We get into that. The ability for personnel to just refuse to refuse orders when they are illegal, to refuse to do things that are clearly in violation of the law. If the US is not in an armed conflict, that means it violated international human rights law, which governs how countries treat individuals, Schmidt said. You can only use lethal force in circumstances where there is an imminent threat, Schmidt said. And there was no imminent threat. Those people were clinging to their dear lives. They were not in a position to do anything, to pose any threat. Brian Finucane, a senior advisor with the International Crisis Group and former State Department lawyer, agreed that the US is not in an armed conflict with drug cartels. The term for a premeditated killing outside of armed conflict is murder, Finucane said, adding that US military personnel could be prosecuted in American courts. Oh, well, that's good. I guess those American soldiers were just fucked by the brass. They were just fucked. They were ordered to commit illegal acts, and they did it because like you have to listen to orders, which is why the conversation about being able to refuse illegal orders is, I would say, quite I don't know, it feels very, how should you say it? I feel like it's very much on point, relevant. Okay. Murder on the high seas is a crime, he said. Conspiracy to commit murder outside of the United States is a crime. And under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 118, makes murder an offense. The Pentagon's own manual of the laws of war describes a scenario similar to the September 2nd boat strike when discussing when service members should refuse to comply with unlawful orders. Oh, so we have a textbook case of when soldiers should have refused to listen to the order. That is very interesting. For example, the manual says orders to fire upon the shipwrecked would be clearly illegal. What Congress has said about what comes next. Leaders of the armed services committees in both the House and Senate have opened investigations. Republican Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi, chairman of the Senate's committee, and its top Democrat Rhode Island Senator Jack Reed said the committee will be conducting vigorous oversight to determine the facts related to those circumstances. I feel like the people that listen to the orders are the most, well, apart from the people killed, of course, they're the second most screwed in all of this. I feel like the people in command will face much less consequence than the people that actually listened to the order and executed it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's gonna be the case, actually, unironically. Concern about the second strike comes after a group of Democratic lawmakers, all veterans of the armed services and intelligence community, released a video calling on U.S. military members to defy illegal orders. And I believe Trump's response to that was to say that they should be executed for saying that. So, very nice times we are living in, very interesting times that we are experiencing right now. Among them was Senator Mark Kelly, an Arizona Democrat and former Navy fighter pilot, who has questioned the use of the military to attack the alleged drug boats. The Pentagon says it's investigating Kelly over possible breaches of military law tied to the video. Oh, okay. Attacking harmless civilians is okay, but posting a video, no, that's a crime. I see how it is. It makes perfect sense to me. Kelly said Monday that if that seems to have happened actually happened, if what seems to have happened actually happened, I'm really concerned about our service members. I am a bit concerned as well, I guess. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has defended the boat strikes as stopping the flow of narcotics into the U.S. and set to wait for the outcome of the reviews. Obviously, if there was a direction to take second shot and kill people, that's a violation of unethical, moral, or legal code. Wait, so again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but what was the purpose of the second strike if not to kill? What was it? The ship's already destroyed. It's a burning wreck. You have two people clinging for life to it. What was the reason for the second strike, if not to kill those people? Please explain it to me. What was the purpose? We need to get to the bottom of it. I would like to hear some weirdly concocted alternative explanation as to why the strike was done. I would love that. So 2 people were killed. People are twisting into pretzels to try to justify it. And this is where we are. And also the leader of Venezuela is designated as a member of a drug cartel. Yep. The purpose is posturing. I mean, sure, but wait. Okay, that's part of it, but you cannot do the posture without killing the people. Like if you have 2 survivors on a boat and you order a second, like that's one of the purposes, posturing, sure. But you can I will never be convinced that the purpose was not to kill these men. Oh yeah, we didn't think they'd die. We never intended to kill these guys with that second strike directly aimed at them, where they were clinging to the ship and could not really move away from it. Come on, that's ridiculous. But again, this is the reality that we have found ourselves in. Interesting times. We are living in interesting times. Never expendable. I mean, that is true, but that's just in this context, saying that is just admitting to a crime. You know? Saying lives are expendable in this particular context is just admitting to a crime. Crazy. Have we actually done all the topics that I had planned for tonight? I should start a poll. Play some games. Yeah, and then more poll. No. Do more poll now. It's not a crime if the president and extension the government does it. Yeah, it's still a crime. It's still a crime if the president and by extension the government does it, because it's a crime, because it's not a violation of domestic law, it's a violation of international law, in which case it doesn't matter if the president and by extension the government does it, because the law that is being violated is international. So it actually does not matter if the president or the government does it. Which, by the way, that is exactly why Trump covered his ass by saying, "Oh yeah, I did not agree to this." And my good man Hegseth says that he did not intend it. So Trump doesn't say, "Oh yeah, it's cool, it's good, lives are expendable." No, Trump says, "No, I don't agree with this. I would not have done the second strike." He said as much. No, their argument will not be that. Their argument will not be that if the president and by extension the government does it, then it's legal. It's already not their argument. Trump's argument is, I would not have done the second strike, and all the other people's argument is, we did not intend to kill them. We intended something else. We did not intend to do this crime. If we intended to kill them, it would have been a crime, but it's not, because we did not intend it. So, I'm saying their argumentation is not exactly, "Oh, we don't care, we did it, and lives are expendable." Their argument is like, we super respect life, and we totally did not intend to kill anybody in this second strike. So they're not saying we did it, but because we did it is not a crime. They say we did not commit a crime. It's not the same. Okay, but international law is ruining my country's sovereignty. We have to just ignore it. True. That is unironically the argument made by states, by the way, so it's not even a joke. Bombing random people is not good. Yeah, but it's not just that they're saying we did not intend to do it. They say we did not target people. We just targeted the boat. So their justification is not even we did not intend it. It's just we We didn't target them. If they died, then it's just, unfortunate. It was an accident. It's all very stupid, and I can definitely agree that nobody will face consequence, because who exactly is going to enforce the arrest? We'll see. We will see. There is an internal investigation. That is the only way that anybody would face any consequence, but I am not super hopeful. We'll see. I guess we'll just have to keep following this. I'm not super hopeful.